Welcome back to Theresa.is.Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. And if you're new here, welcome. I have an awful garbage mouth where I tend to use fuck as a comma. If you're not into that or weird shit in general, bitch, this is not the place for you. Feel free to X out the video here. No harm, no foul. But I'll remember our time fondly. If you want to jump straight to the overall review of the product, I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. So the other day I was coming home and I actually was coming home fairly late. And the reason why is because I had to work like a fucking dog at my desk pretty much from 8:30 a.m. to about 7 o'clock. So
that's fun.
In any case, I had two options. One, I could have walked over a couple of avenues over from where I work and waited for an express bus. It's also Friday night in New York City. Usually it's like a mass exodus to leave Manhattan. So it's just like, all right, either I'm gonna be sitting on a bus in traffic or I could take the train home, which would be faster, but also there were a lot of delays on the train, but I figured, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna take my chances on the train. And I'm glad that I did. So I get on my one train and it was fine. Everything was perfect. It was great, whatever. I get on the next train, the E train, which is so fantastic. And it was rather empty, which is really fucking strange because the E train is usually like standing room only. But whatever, I'm not gonna complain, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. So this train was nice and cold. There were plenty of seats. So I plopped my fat ass down, playing Candy Crush, listening to podcasts, living my best fucking life. When a man gets on the train and he says the following.
Hi everyone, my name is Ryan.
I almost wanted to be like, hi Ryan, but nobody else would do that with me in the car, so missed opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for some change. You see, my bitch ass girlfriend Ashley took all my motherfucking money.
I'm listening.
I just need $416.
It's a very specific amount, but you got my attention. He then pulls out a couple of singles and goes,
I have $6. So I just need $410. Can someone give me $410?
At this point, no one's even looking up.
I promise this is not for drugs. Okay, maybe a little, but most of it is because I really want this turtle.
What?
Oh, no one's gonna help me? Well, you guys can go fuck yourselves.
And then he just got off the train. And I had so many questions because I was like, why do you need $410 for a fucking turtle? What do you mean? Who's selling, turtles that expensive? When did turtles become that expensive? I have a lot of questions, but he didn't even give me a chance to ask them. That man ran out of the goddamn train car. Well, Ryan, I hope you are able to get some funding for your turtle and for a little bit of drugs, which I honestly, I gotta give him credit for. At least he was honest about that part, because only a small portion was gonna go to that. The rest of it was gonna go to his turtle. Anyway, that was my day. How was yours? On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Jackie Aina collaboration with Anastasia Beverly Hills, but I wanted to stress that this video is purely about the palette. Anything about Jackie Aina as a person, I am not talking about, I don't really give a fuck about, blah, 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 I don't care. If you don't like her as a person, don't leave any shitty comments down below. I don't like that stuff, like that's whatever. Everyone has their right to their own opinion. I firmly believe that. This is purely about the palette itself, so just a big ol' heads up there. Now with that said, let me tell you a little bit about the palette. Jackie Aina Eyeshadow Palette retails for $45. A collaboration of Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina, this limited edition palette features Jackie's must-have colors for gorgeous looks. Created in collaboration with influencer Jackie Aina, this limited edition palette features Jackie's must-have eyeshadows and pressed pigments for straight-up gorgeous looks. The unique full pigmented formula is easy to blend and delivers high color payoff and buildable intensity in both matte and metallic finishes. The 14 all-new shades allows you to create everything from cool to warm tone neutral looks, daring bright eye looks, shimmering glam looks, and bold smoky eyes. So for $45, what exactly do you get? First and foremost, packaging wise, this is fucking stunning, bitch. I really fucking love this thing. I think out of all the Anastasia Beverly Hills packaging, this is probably my favorite. Something about faux snakeskin hollow is fucking giving me life. So when I first saw this palette, I really, really love the color story. However, upon further inspection, I was like, ooh, it kind of looks very similar to other Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. And in a way, it still does. There's something that was completely unique about this palette that made me a little bit more interested in picking picking it up. Plus, I got this during the Sephora sale, which I saved 20% off. It actually made me feel a little bit better about purchasing this palette at a lower price point. So with that said, I kind of have some thoughts on it. So you get about 6 matte shades and about 8 metallic-y shimmery shades. So let's talk about the metallics first. And I'm sorry if I'm like butchering these fucking names and shit like that, but whatever, it is what it is. The only shadow that I really can't talk about is the shade Zam. And I just didn't really get to play around with it other than swatching it, but it does look like a beautiful rose gold color. Soleil was very beautiful. It's like a soft peach metallic color. I actually used it on my lid today, just kind of like pressing it a little bit on top of the shade Sponsored. It gives this beautiful like soft glow to the eye. Wiggalese.
Bitch.
Fuck me up. That is a good motherfucking red shade. That is fantastic. I love this shade. This is awesome. Fucking awesome. The palette's almost worth it, I think, for the shade and trust issues, to be completely honest. This I had no issue with. It was beautiful and it's so sultry. It's just so fucking perfect, that shade. And now that we're approaching fall, hopefully, because it's fucking disgusting out, I can't wait to wear that and kind of do like cranberry smoky eyes and all kinds of shit. That is an amazing shade. Shookington was weird because it's a purple shade that looks very pretty. However, when I was applying it to my eyelid, I was having a little bit of an issue with it. And with all the metallic shades, I actually do use a little bit of setting spray. And for that one, when I would initially put it on the lid, it looked fine. However, when I wanted to put like another coat on it because I didn't feel like it was completely popping, it started kind of removing the product underneath it. So I feel like it's one of those shadows that I can't really layer around because it starts to move around. However, on a dry brush for like my lower lash line for the look that I have today, I like it. So I think it's just like kind of a weird shade. Plus, I think out of all of them, this is the shade that was like probably the most soft and crumbly and a lot of weird kick up and all like and chunkiness in the pan. I didn't really experience that with the other shadows, just that one. So I think out of all of the shimmer ones, this is probably the one that's like the most soft pressed, which is really fucking annoying. But I had high hopes because it just looks so pretty in the swatch. But in reality, I don't know, it's not my favorite shade. And I really almost wish they kind of just did away with it and brought something else into the palette, but whatever. Trust Issues, hands down, besides Wiggalese, is my favorite shade in this whole palette. And specifically what I like about the shade is that one, I could use it as a highlight, which is, I mean, I don't have it on right now, but it's a beautiful highlight shade for someone that looks like uncooked chicken, so that's great. And I also like that you can put this on top of other shades and it also kind of transforms the look. It's so fucking pretty. And that was the one thing I think with all my looks is that I used a little bit of that shade and just kind of like pat it in the center of my eyelid or just use it in the inner corner, and it's just so fucking sparkly and beautiful. It has a very nice like white to yellow shift. It's fucking gorgeous. That shade can do me no fucking wrong. The next shade is
Jewelers.
It comes across as kind of like a yellowy gold metallic olive shade. It's definitely a very pretty shade, but I wish it was just a little bit more green. I would say it's more on the kind of yellowy gold side, but it's still very pretty. But I just, you know, when you say olive green, like I want it to be fucking olive green, and this doesn't kind of come anywhere near like say like the Melt palettes that I have or the Juicy Olive palette. So this is kind of a little bit lackluster for me, but it's not a bad shade. It's just, I wanted it to be more olive, but I'll shut the fuck up. The other shade that's fantastic is Sponsored. Oh my god, bitch.
Fuck my ass sideways. I love this shade.
Ugh, so fucking good. This is such a gorgeous shade, and this is something that I actually have on my lid today. I love this shade. This is fantastic, and this is the thing that actually sold me on the palette, the shade and Trust Issues. And then last but not least, I have, I guess, Lituation, which is this guy over here, is what I had on my eyes yesterday. And this is another one that is another gorgeous dark shade. It's just really nice for fall. Actually, let me show you that Wiggalese shade.
Oh, bitch. I mean, come on, really?
I feel like a fucking vampire. I love it. God damn it. For the most part, I think the shimmers worked very lovely, with the exception of like Shookington. So I'm trying to swatch this one, but you see how it's like moving around in the pan? Kind of gross. I don't like that. Yeah, you see how it's kind of like chunky? Ugh. And there's Trust Issues. Which, sorry, god damn, I love that fucking shade. Definitely think that the shimmers in this palette are very beautiful, with the exception that there is some kind of problematic shades, especially with Shookington or Shooketh or whatever the fuck it's called. But overall though, I think, especially going into the season of fall, this is gonna be a really nice palette to play around with. I actually think I like the quality of this one a little bit better. I don't feel like the shimmers are all that crumbly, with the exception of the purple one. They are really not that crumbly. I didn't really find a lot of kind of kick up or fallout with them, which is kind of fantastic. fantastic. So let's talk about the mattes in this guy. So you get 6 mattes in this one. The shade Supreme is really, really lovely. I think it's a very nice pink. I had no issue with it. Love that one. The shade Pinker, which is one right next to it, is another shade that was super awesome. It's kind of like a nice mauve-esque kind of shade, like a cranberry mauve shade. Very beautiful. And the shade next to that one is Bigwig. I kind of had a couple of issues with Bigwig. So let me do that swatch again, because that looks a little fucking weak. So I find that with the shade Bigwig, it's a little bit more on the drier side. The first thing I kind of wanted to know about these matte shades, I don't think they're as soft as, say, like other Anastasia Beverly Hills matte shades. There is definitely a little bit more stiffness to it. I would say maybe a little bit similar to the Alyssa Edwards palette in that way. Although that palette is very stiff. You get amazing pigment with this, but it's not as soft as, say, like the Norvina palette or the Modern Renaissance palette or Soft Glam or whatever. There is a little bit of stiffness to it. The purple shade Bigwig, that is such a weird fucking shade. So today I actually used it in my crease and I found that it was just very, very patchy. In my exact crease, it was very dark, but then it wasn't like blending out properly. Like I felt like it was just getting really patchy and kind of just staying very still, which I believe it's because it's a pressed pigment, if I'm not mistaken. And usually I find with pressed pigments with Anastasia, like you can't really blend it out. Like you could just build it up and leave it alone. And I think had I just built it up and left it alone, it would have been just fine. But because I was trying to blend it out, it just was not working with me. So I wasn't really a fan of that. On the lower lash line, I think it's beautiful. And when I use that purple shadow on my lower lash line, it stays all day and it has a wonderful lasting power, which I fucking love. The other shade in the palette is Edges. I would say that Edges is definitely different from the first 3 shades. It's definitely softer. Love that shade, it's very beautiful. The shade Credit is actually a little bit more stiffer. Very pretty chocolate brown color. And then last but not least, the shade Ginger. Ginger I had no issue with. Now the shades Edges and Credit, that's a problem. The thing that I found that was really fucking annoying with those 2 shades is that you put them on and they look beautiful, but within 1 hour they fade so fucking bad. And I have tried this eyeshadow with multiple different primers and I had the same fucking reaction every time I used it. And it's annoying because they are so goddamn fucking pretty and I feel like they are needed for a palette like this. So I've been looking at some other reviews and I was trying to find people that talk about this, but nobody's talking about it. So which makes me wonder, like, is it something wrong with me? Is it my chemistry that's fucking this palette up? Could potentially be. I mean, I am made of bacon grease. Fuck, maybe that's the case here. And what I will note is that it's not like the fading happened 6 hours after wearing something, which, you know, not the greatest, but that does happen. This would happen relatively quickly. One of the shades actually happened a half an hour after I applied it, which I was like, what the fuck is this about? So for $45, do I think this palette's worth it? No, not at $45. I think if this is definitely 20% off, then yes, it's worth it. Because even though I did have some issues with some of the shadows overall, I actually really do enjoy the color story. I like that I can come up with a lot of different looks with this palette, and I do feel like this is a nice standalone palette. However, my thoughts kind of have changed a little bit considering some of the more essential shades that you would need to kind of complete a look are kind of lackluster. You kind of need another palette to complete that, in my opinion anyway. If you do have this palette and you don't experience that sort of lifting, let me know what the fuck you did, because I need to figure that out, because that's the only thing that's really bothering me about this palette. Overall, the standout shades for me is Wiggalese, Trust Issues, and Sponsored. Those 3 shades, fucking fantastic. I love them. Actually, the other shade that's really pretty too is Supreme, because it's like a nice pink, and I really like this shade as kind of like an inner upper liddy thingy, whatever. That is like really pretty, and it kind of softens the look. So overall though, I am a fan of this palette. I think this is actually really nice. I just wish that some of the shades work as consistent as the other shades. What I really do like about this palette, it's made for people with deeper skin in mind, which is actually kind of really a fucking shame because all palettes should be made for everybody. It should be a universal thing, but of course it's not like that and that really sucks, but I'm hoping that more brands kind of see this as an opportunity to start really making all palettes more universal friendly. Some of you guys with deeper skin complexions have been commenting on my Sephora video saying like, I had to return this palette, like it did not show up on me or it just didn't work and stuff like that. So I'm really curious to hear from you guys more on like why it didn't work for you or if it did work for you or whatever, because I find that really interesting. But on this uncooked piece of chicken, this shit does show up, so that's quite nice. So with that said, now I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below how you feel about this palette. Are you going to pick it up? Did you pick it up? Do you not care? Whatever, let me know because I love hearing from you guys. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notifications notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Discord. On Thursdays, we have a podcast called The Miserable Three. And sometimes I'm on my husband's Twitch channel where I just yell about things on the internet. All those links will be down below. I will see you little pumpkins later. Bye.